Starting route to Breckenridge.
It's a bad situation for our whole county.
We should be treated the same no matter what.
Kentucky State Police.
It's not easy to stand up against a sheriff.
The Kentucky State Police officer noted in an arrest report the sheriff had made threats to law enforcement. He was armed, driving recklessly, and he had a warrant out for his arrest. That officer noted that he saw the sheriff drinking beer inside his vehicle. He also said in the arrest report he had a beer in the center console. That was 4 years ago.
If this doesn't stop, somebody will die.
Kentucky State Police Post 4 received a call of a two-vehicle accident near the 9400 block of Highway 259 in Breckenridge County. Sheriff Pate was arrested for suspicion of driving under the influence and lodged in the Hardin County Detention Center.
It's what happened 40 minutes before the crash that made the focus team start asking questions. We learned from dispatch records that an hour before the crash, the sheriff had talked with an Irvington police officer in the parking lot of the Augie Doggies gas station. Another driver had called 911 when they saw the sheriff asleep at the wheel, crossing over multiple lanes of traffic and hitting a curb.
It's not uncommon for law enforcement to have what they call blue privilege, and I believe that's happened here most certainly for Todd Pate.
Irvington Police Chief Brandon Brinkley told us after a 5-minute conversation at the gas station with the sheriff, his officer saw no signs of impairment and let the sheriff drive away. 40 minutes later, the sheriff crashed. At that scene, a Kentucky State Police trooper noted the sheriff had bloodshot eyes, a strong odor of alcohol, slurred speech, and was unsteady on his feet. Is it possible that he would go from no signs of impairment to 40 minutes later having a blood alcohol content of 0.159?
So signs of impairment aren't perfectly correlated with blood alcohol levels, so that's a pretty steep curve, but yes, it's possible. In this specific case, you have an incredibly high blood alcohol level at the scene, so that's not rocket science.
We tried to find her, tried to find out how this crash has impacted her life, but we could never make contact. We did, however, hear from others.
Kentucky sheriff was locked up last month after police say he was driving drunk and crashed.
This is a citizen that we here in Breckenridge County.
In the days that followed, we received emails, messages, voicemails urging us to keep digging. That was enough for us to know we had to get back down to Breckenridge County. We decided to drive down for the next fiscal court meeting.
I have an issue that I wanted to address.
We don't want any harm for Mr. Tate. We think he's a decent human being, but we don't think he needs to be enforcing the law in Breckenridge County anymore.
He's here to protect us. If driving drunk is not protecting us,
we take this seriously, very seriously. There's things that have happened over the past few years, and I think our sheriff, I know he regrets what happened and so forth. And I've had lots of calls, lots of comments on people that I meet.
So, who does have the power to hold an elected official accountable? Is it the people who elected him? Well, sure, but they can't do it alone. We reached out to both lawmakers serving Breckenridge County. Senator Stephen Meredith called us back right away, but he said he couldn't act on this because impeachment has to start in the House. Representative Dean Shamor wouldn't take our calls. He didn't answer multiple emails weeks after first reaching out. A legal aid sent a text on his behalf saying, "I am only aware of this through the media and will therefore reserve comment on this case until it has been considered by the courts." So, for now, the sheriff can continue to serve. He has the power to make arrests or issue DUIs. He has the option to resign or to keep his seat as the sitting sheriff of Breckenridge County until 2022. The sheriff's next court date is an arraignment set for June 6th. If he is convicted on all charges, he could be facing prison time. He could lose his license, and he could be banned from possessing a firearm. For Focus, I'm Shay McAllister.